Let me start where most people finish a presentation. The major conclusion of my work to date is quite simple. In the global knowledge economy, sustainable success for any modern enterprise will only occur when highly talented creatives, those having strong minds but often diverse points of view, learn to cooperate in creative teams. And this in turn will also only happen when such teams tackle topics that passionately excite them, either to an agreed and clear mission or on the basis of a well-focused question. For, as Linda Grattan, Professor of Business Management at the London Business School, confirms in over 150 case studies of successful innovating organisations, innovation only happens when there is an extraordinary clash between the ideas of differently creative people. While a team of experts with similar views are great at improving what they already do, if innovation and enterprise is required in any new development, you need quite a different sort of creative team. One made up of as many different perspectives as possible, often from different cultures, usually consisting of creatives having a variety of mindsets, and ideally with an appropriate gender mix. Some have called this way of team working the wisdom of the crowd. For when diverse teams become collectively and passionately excited in their sharing of an objective, they can become amazingly innovative. But only if they are also open to cooperative working for the general good. Look at what regularly happens in organisations like Nokia and Google, who go out of their way to set up such teams, whose working ethos is based around creativity and innovation. But creative teams need careful nurturing. They cannot be controlled to perform to a plan. They need to learn how they can collectively break the old mould, to think out of the box. To do this effectively, each member of the team needs to be creative in their own right, but they also need to be creatively led, in order that they properly co-create with each other. And this is where the right kinds of academics come into their own. Many academics have the capability of becoming such leaders because of their entire education. They have learned how to cope with uncertainty and complexity as they strive for better common sense understandings of any topic and build useful theories about them. Academics have learned to act in this way as they seek to explain their interests in the world, systematically, properly, and systemically. Harness the skills of these thinkers, combine it with entrepreneurial leadership, and you have a perfect combination to motivate and lead other experts to creatively cooperate for wealth-creating innovation. With the right coaching, my research on university reach-out shows that good academics can become powerful leaders of creative teams. And in my opinion, it is only such teams that will be capable of successfully managing innovation in the knowledge economy. In a project known as Upbeat, described later in detail, I have developed an approach which helps turn traditional academics into enterprising ones. Academic facilitators capable of enabling a team to collectively innovate. Such non-directive enablers can be coached to harness the creativity of a team as a whole, thus persuading team members to buy into overall objectives, no matter how difficult. Entrepreneurial academics can act as honest brokers between extreme ideas, anticipate conflict and diffuse it, create a can-do attitude and cajole team members into shared goals. Such entrepreneurial leaders must be able to get their creative teams excited about their collective task, aligning their differing capabilities, knowledge and know-how, challenging each team member to have mighty personal goals to deliver their own outcomes, but then be able to get the individual creators in a team to subsume their individual skills for the good of all others, to maximise the team performance. Rather than just working on their own personal goals, collective team working is absolutely necessary, where the sum of the parts is worth considerably more than the parts themselves. In short, entrepreneurial academic leaders are simply practicing the best principles of higher education, which harks back to our ancestors' view of education and the Latin term educo educere. So in higher education we seek to draw out from within a person and in our case, any team, its higher level knowledge, skills and capabilities to drive the team to the highest values possible. And with the right leadership, I have shown academic enterprise teams can achieve systemic solutions at a quicker pace, more creatively and innovatively, respond to both human needs and demands, and do this in a socially inclusive and highly sustainable way. My evidence to support this has been gleaned through two major new studies I have recently undertaken. In one, funded by England's Higher Education Funding Council, I explored the creative practices of over 150 university reach-out projects from over 25 British and 5 other European universities. In the second study, a Socrates-funded project undertaken under the auspices of the European Universities Association, I led a consortium of 7 European universities who explored the creative ways through which each helped their local city region become more creative and innovative for wealth creation. In summary of these findings, there have been amazingly high levels of wealth-creating innovation occurring in many higher academic enterprises over the last 5 years, especially since universities started to take such reach-out activity seriously. However, we have also shown that success is particularly prevalent where academics have learned to share their knowledge and know-how openly, regularly and virtuously with their local businesses, industries and communities. At the highest level of academic enterprise, some teams truly co-create in highly innovative ways, often developing pioneering projects, products, processes, methodologies and solutions. Typically, solutions developed in these higher academic enterprises fitted extremely well against typical goals for the knowledge economy, with mutual benefits going both to the universities and their strategic external partners. I have again come up with yet another phrase to define universities who focus on such new ways of working. I call them universities for modern renaissance, and these will be described in more detail in section 7. In the next section of this talk, I take this argument a little further. I show some practical examples from Salford University of the best higher academic practices we have so far developed. I contextualise the argument with some personal insights. I talk more about the importance of virtuous knowledge sharing and co-creation. And I also describe the upbeat process that I have briefly mentioned here and show how it helps successful enterprises within conventional universities grow. And in the final section, I give a perspective of how any higher education institution can itself become a university for modern renaissance.